At the end of the Parasha, there's a very interesting story of a case of a man that was found dead, not known if he was murdered, killed, whatever. He had a heart attack. And they are trying to decide which city has to take care of him. He's in the middle of the field. And they actually take a meter and they measure what's the distance from every city to decide who's going to take care of him. Eventually they find out that it's exactly the same distance. When they reach the point where it's exactly the same distance, they can't make a decision who's going to take care of it. So what do? They gather the leaders of both the cities, the elders, and everyone together comes to a water spring, and they bring a cow, and they put their hands on the cow, and they say, our hands did not pour this blood. And they bring the children, the women. It's like a whole propaganda just for one moment to come and confess that these cities are not the ones that are like, we didn't spill the blood, we didn't kill this man. And the commentaries right away start asking questions. What's the whole story? If we didn't do it, so don't make whole propaganda out of it. But if you did do it, so take responsibility. Like, are we taking responsibility or aren't we taking responsibility? So one of the commentaries gives a very nice idea. He says, with one sentence, he says, our hands did not spill this blood, but our souls are not clean from spilling this blood. And when you look deep into that sentence, it gives a different meaning for our social responsibility. Today in Israel, we see the yell out and the scream, a real scream from the soul of the nation yelling out for social responsibility, for social justice. And we all look at the rich that are stealing from the poor and that it's not justice, and everything that's happening here is not good. But the question is, if we also do an inner search of how did we reach this situation? How did we reach the point where there's so much corruption? How did we reach as a society a stage where there's so much violence? Where there's a case of people stabbing each other because they argued over a parking spot? When we come and we want to blame someone, especially in the time of Elul, the time of remorse, time of thinking, doing inner search, we find out that it's the easiest to blame the other person. It's the easiest to come and say, he made the mistake. He has to become better. Or society, I don't know even who, but they have to become better. They have to see the righteousness, and we always know what to say about another person, that he has to grow. But do we actually point at ourselves and say, what can I do to become better? And what can I do to make the education system better so there's no violence? So people know how to respect their elders. What can I do so there's no corruption in the economy? What can I do? Are we all clean? Are our hands really clean from this murder? And that's what the whole story at the end of the Parasha comes to teach us. Is it's true, we didn't spill the blood. We're not corrupt right now. But are we part of a society that pushes to corruption? Are we part of a society that its goals are to be rich and maybe not to build a family and to have children? Are we part of a society that their goals are expensive cars and expensive houses and not a good relationship with your spouse? What are our goals in life? And if we're part of that society, then we're also part to blame. The idea of the Parasha is to come and teach us is, look, do an inner search. See the truth. It's true, you're not the corrupt one, but we're part of it. And we'll always be part of it as long as we don't come and we want otherwise. And we prove and we educate for a better generation to come. So our kids have a better place, and our grandkids will have, Be'ezrat Hashem, a much better place to live in.